Hi guys, welcome back. Happy holidays to everybody. We went away for Christmas, and so I'm just getting back to a routine here. I'm really excited about the new year coming up. I have so many great videos planned. So you're going to see a little bit of changes here. And first of all, I cleaned it. And I don't mean just cleaning, surface cleaning, because it's always surface cleaned. I meant cleaned it out. I went with the KonMari method. I have no problems cleaning out my house, like when I do like a major clean on my house. You give me my craft room and I can't do it. I've been trying for years, and this time I just said, that's it, I'm done. I went through everything, touched everything. If it didn't inspire me and has not inspired me, it was just too much. I have a small crafting room and just a limited amount of space. And when my crafting stuff starts bleeding out into the rest of the house, it drives my husband crazy. So that's why I took over this room as my crafting room. Last time I did the front half, this time I did the back half. And as you could see, there's major work done. I came up with some pencil storage that we're going to DIY today. It's very easy, very inexpensive, and really functional. And they hang on the wall. They also stand up. So when I am bringing a color palette over onto my desk, I can look at the color palette, see how the colors work with each other, and they could stay in these little frames indefinitely until I finish the picture, which avoids little piles of pencils all over the place. Plus, I really enjoy my pencils. I think pencils are beautiful, and even nibbies are beautiful when they put together. So I'm really excited about this, and I've made so many of them, got my pencils so organized. I could find any color, any pencil, anytime, and you can't ask for more than that. So let me give you a short little look at what my craft room looks like now. Over there we have my metallics, and those are vintage Prismacolors. They're Eagle Beryl and Sanford. And then I move over to my neons, which are also vintage. And I don't have all of them, but I do have my reds and pinks and my green. And I did some color palettes with my Holbeins, a spring palette. Now I've added in my Caran d'Ache because those pencils are so pretty. And I did some color palettes. And here we have Holbein again, the pastels. And we have some fire colors done in Caran d'Ache and more of my Holbeins. Now, I did a different one, which I'm not finished with. I ran out of some of the materials I need, and I made little holders out of small blocks of wood. It was scrap blocks that I had here for my nibbies, which are constantly getting lost, ending up under my desk, and they don't get used to their full potential. I'm constantly losing this. I mean, it's almost always gone. I now have a place that I'll always have my nibby holder. And since I'll be keeping all my shorties or nibbies, whatever you call them, over here, this is perfect. And then I have this whole other shelf, which I didn't know what to put on that'll look neat. So I put my bottles of ink. I think they're pretty, nice and colorful. So for now, that's what's going to be up there. And going downward, I've got all my vintage pencils, my collection. Now I have some fancier ones over here that I did. You don't have to add all the pencils in. My baby colors, one for Halloween. You could change these out. The back pictures on it, I did a hollow one with the rainbow. I like this color palette, this purple and mint green. So I did a pencil palette for it, and I'll use that. I think those are regular Prismacolors. They may be Sanfords. You can hang these up. So if you have a craft space and you want to get them off your desk, but you want to leave them, I can hang them up on the wall. Those are Holbein metallics. And then I've got a purple palette. And then I've got a nature palette. Over here I did a nebula because Caran d'Ache has the greatest colors for nebula. So I put those out, and I will leave them out. And I did the base in a black instead of a white. And here I just did something fun for Halloween. And you can add more things to the bottom. It's almost like a scrapbooking page. You could just keep going. And then I have a black and white. Now, if you notice something different about this, those are not pencils. Those are actually wooden dowels. And I just did that because I thought they looked good. Eventually, I will put some black and whites in them. That's just wooden dowels painted to look like pencils. And if you want to leave your palettes up on the wall, you can do this. You don't have to put your pencils into it. You can just make wall art out of this. And then up on my shelf, I've got a fall palette, and I've got sort of like a rainbow sky night palette, and going into some of my other blues. Now, I bought these canisters. I still have to label them, and they hold my extra Prismacolors. I collect tins, and here's one of my tins. I love these pencils too. They're very expensive, but the tins, the old vintage tins, all little gnomes on them, and they're really cute. And I won a couple more auctions for more of these with different pictures. That had to go up on my wall. And then I have one last one down here, and that's just a Christmas palette, some reds and greens. If you're in doubt that I have a small obsession with pencils, I'm going to show you something else that I have. These are the pencils that I haven't put on display, and there's boxes and boxes of them. I have two sets of Prismacolors in books. This is one and that's another. They're full. And then I've got my bucket of shame. Yes, these are all Prismacolors and other good pencils that have made it outside of their respective boxes, and I still have to go through. It's a lot. I bought those silver canisters that I'm going to put all the reds, blues, yellows, and then label them. So it's really easy to get put away my extra pencils. And I will confess, there's still more. I didn't even open one of my drawers, and I've got some of the ones that I never look at that I'll probably be giving away in giveaways this year, because there's no reason to have them, like some pastel pencils that I just don't use. Let's make a couple of these, and you're going to find out how easy it is to do this. I got the frames at the dollar store, but they do sell them on Amazon. I was seeing them for $2.50 a piece. They sell them in groups of like 6 to 12, depending on what you want. I'm using an 8x10. And I bought, I think, 21 of them all together. And they were going fast because I bought 10 one day and there was a lot of them left. And then I went back the next day almost at opening and there was almost none. There was only 12 left. They're held together with these clips. You just turn them around. The clips come right off. And then you take it apart, remove it. And I'm inserting a piece of paper. I had already pre-cut it to 8x10. This is just some cardstock. Line it up. You're going to have to decide whether you're hanging these or you're going to put them like on a shelf. I've done both. If you're going to hang them, I do recommend putting in a spot of glue right in the hole and then clipping them back on, because the glue will hold it from falling out, because you're not going to put a bottom clip on, and they go right into place. Just hold it for a few seconds and you should be fine. Now, I'm only going to put in 3. You're not going to put in the bottom one. That's important because the wood won't line up if you put in all the clips at once. So just the 3. Make sure they're in place. This one's nice and tight. Holds fine. Okay, when you turn it over and your clips are in, if you're going to hang it, I would put a little clear E6000 or some super glue over here and here. You won't be able to open it up again, so just make sure you have the inside as what you want. Okay, the next thing I did was I got some molding and I cut it to 8 inches. If you're nice to them at Home Depot, just tip the guy, he'll cut it for you. I bought a 40-foot length and we cut it ourselves because my father has a shop. This is the shape of it, and you see how it rounds down here and it's square at the top? That's very important. You want to put it on your frame so that the square part forms like a shelf and the round part finishes off the bottom nicely. So it's actually the opposite of the way you would put it in your house. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little hot glue. It's an immediate thing. when you stick it down, it will glue really quickly to glass. And I just put it right on the inside. I don't put it up near the edge so that when the glue spreads out, it has somewhere to go. And then I line it up and I place it on the glass. You don't have much time for wiggle room. Once it's down, it's down. It doesn't come off. And there we have the basic frame. All I have to do is add a drop of glue to these, and this is ready to hang. We'll move on to the next step. You're going to need some clear plastic tubing, and you could pick this up from Home Depot. Don't buy it off the internet, because you're going to do two things with it. One, you're going to put a pencil or whatever pencils that you're going to use into it and make sure it fits snug. I would give you the exact dimension of it, but depending on your brand of pencil and what you're going to be displaying, it's going to fit a little bit differently. It does come in 100 feet rolls on the internet, but if you go into Home Depot, they sell it in much smaller batches. Now that the wood is onto the glass, I'm going to measure out 15 inches of this. How I do this is I take the tubing and I measure on here. With a marker, I just make a line. Then I cut one off. This is called the Ultimate Cutter. I got it at Home Depot and I just line it up. This works with any sort of inexpensive pruning shears, and I clip one off. It's very easy. You can cut this with scissors. It's a little bit harder with scissors. I would go with one of these clipping tools or a little pruning shear. Now that I have one cut to the size that I want it to be, which is approximately the size of the wood, I'm going to take the wooden dowel. I'm going to place the dowel into the tubing, and it fits nice and snug in there. And I'm going to put it all the way down. The wooden dowel helps to straighten the tubing out. You get a nice measurement. Then I just take the one that I cut and I mark the tubing. And I'm going to mark going all the way down the tube. And then I'm going to just remove the stick. I'm going to just cut on the lines like I did before. It doesn't pop it off, which is good because they'd go flying. What you're going to get is like snake-like thing. And then when you are ready, it comes apart just like that. And you're going to do 15 of them. Once you're done cutting them, this is important because the plastic is rolled. They take on sort of like a noodle-like shape. So you want to straighten it out as much as you can. So what I do is I dip them into, this is boiling water. Then I wait about 10 minutes for the plastic to soften up and get warm. Once it's warm, I take the dowel again and I put it on. This helps straighten it out. And I just string it until it dries. Now I'm going to add my pencils. And I've chosen my Caran. You just slip them in. They're a little bit loose on this one, but I have a fix for that too. And this is why I said any black marks on the back are not going to show because the pencils are going to go in there. So as long as the marks are in the back, no big deal. Or you just take them off with the file. Then I'm going to add some pinks in. And then I'm going to end with a red. And you can make it all perfect. Now, this is great when it's laying down. They don't move around. But there's going to be a little bit of kick or move on it. There's a little bit of fishing line, and it's elastic. And I'm just slipping the elastic around the front and into the back. Hit that like this. Make it tight. And a good knot. You can move them into place. The basic frame is now put together. It stands up nicely, and you can arrange it just like that. Well, this is it, the end of 2019, and I'm ready to start 2020 with a bang. So much planned. I want to thank everybody for all the love and support all year long. I think I have the best subscribers ever, each and every one of you. I wish you a fantastic new year. Be safe, be warm, be happy. No drinking and driving. I want to see each and every one of you in 2020. I love you guys. Take care.